This message will be dealing with the 2012 elections. We'll be coming from the book of Nehemiah, starting at chapter 5, at verse 4, which says, "We have to borrow money to pay the king's tax on our fields and vineyards. Although we are the same flesh and blood as our countrymen, and though our sons are as good as theirs, yet we have to subject our sons and daughters to slavery. Some of our daughters have already been enslaved, and we are powerless because our fields and our vineyards belong to others." So these are the people of Israel. This is after they was released from the 70 years of captivity in Babylon. When they were in Babylon, they worked to beautify the Babylonian and Chaldean people's country. They also had worked at all of their industrial businesses, which made them rich. They worked it to make them rich, and they received the no pay for their sales, that they can build anything or future for their children. But the Babylonians were crushed by the Medes and Persians, and the children of Judah were to go free back to their land, where they were led by Zerubbabel. And when they had entered back into the land, they were poor when they were set free. They didn't have any type of money or anything saved up or built up for themselves, because the Babylonians had worked them to earn riches in the future in the settlement for their people. That when they came out, they were poor and didn't have anything, nothing. And they said, based upon Persia was in rule at that time, because Persia had become a world empire, that they still had to pay taxes in their own land to the king of Persia. And the people were poor when they had already rented and sold out all of their fields. They had also sold out their sons and daughters into slavery upon the debt and taxes they still could not pay. And it said that the taxes that they were paying to the king of Persia was 20 million ducats. The high was a person who was poor, able to pay off millions of dollars. They had to pay it off by selling parts of their lands, their fields and stuff that they own. And if I had 4 children, I had to give two of my children into slavery to pay their debts. So Nehemiah was the governor of the people of Israel. And he had status and high status and favor in the sight of the king of Persia. It goes on, it says that in verse 6, when I heard their outcry and these charges, I was very angry. I pondered them in my mind, and then accused the nobles and officials. I told them, you are extracting usury from your own countrymen. So when Nehemiah had heard the request and the cries of his people, that Nehemiah had compassion for them. It was a 3-strike law that the people had signed here in the United States. The 3-strike law was set by Pete Wilson. The 3-strike law said that they were to give life sentences to people who were kidnappers, rapists, and arsonists. But now that the law went into effect, it hit people who are of lower class citizens in the United States. It hit them bad. It hit all us who were in the urban environment. It hit us and affected us bad. It hit those who were Hispanics that were born in the United States. It hit them and affected them bad. It hit those who were white that were on methamphetamines. Their own people named them white trash. But they are still considered as human beings and God's children who need help. And it affected them bad. Well, I ran into a person that was in there incarcerated, serving a life sentence because he had got caught with a $5 rock of cocaine and a $10 rock of cocaine. He was given 25 to life sentence on the 3-strike law for a nickel rock and a $10 rock that he was about to smoke. That he was addicted to drugs and he had that on him that he had bought from someone that he was going to use for personal usage. That person should have been given a rehab. But they gave that person life in prison. In the Old Testament time, it was eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for hand, life for life. Meaning as, if you killed one of mine, I'll kill one of yours. That law in the Old Testament didn't mean, if you steal a bag of potato chips from the store, I'll kill you and take your life. That's even going overboard according to the book of law, which is the Torah of Moses. And Obama, in your last campaign, you had said that you were going to put jobs off inside the urban environment. Where are those jobs? So we need help with you to overturn the 3-strike law to help for the release of people who are not in there for rape, for kidnap, or for arson. That you will look into that case and help us by overturning that law, and that you will work to benefit us by bringing the economy back up, because a lot of us had got laid off work when those wars had took place. That when the extra wars took place because it was a war in Iraq and no weapons of mass destruction were ever found. That us, the people, the citizens of the United States, we had to pay off millions upon millions of dollars for that war. No weapons of mass destruction were found that we were charged for. That we were laid off work. They deducted, and they're still deducting $100 a month out of people who are disabled on Social Security's money. People who are disabled were also receiving rentals rebate. We no longer get rentals rebate. They're taking that money to pay off those wars. That we don't have time to be liberating other people's countries when that's their own business and dealing with their governments. That all of the requests from the United Nations were being answered, but us people in the United States still did not get our jobs that you had promised that was supposed to be put inside of the urban community. And we would like for you to help us, and we would like you also to lower the price of gasoline, because they doubled the price on our gasoline to pay off these wars and affairs with people in other countries. That it costed us, United States citizens, we had to pay for that war, and it affected us bad. That we already had people that were here in the United States that were struggling, and even them were being charged to pay off debts from other countries. So us, the Keyways and Damus in the United States of America, the Gates and Disciples and the Vice Laws, the 415 and the Black Guerrilla Family, and the Gotti Boys, we have a request for this election that you will overturn the 3-strike law and let my people go. And if you cannot meet our request, then Abari Ghani, my brother. But we will promise you, if you can meet our request, that we will send our family members to go and vote for you this election. And then it goes on in the book of Nehemiah, which says, in chapter 2, starting at verse 1, it says, in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, when wine was brought for him, I took the wine and gave it to the king. I had not been his presence before. So the king asked me, why does your face look so sad when you are not ill? This can be nothing but sadness of heart. I was very much afraid. But I said to the king, may the king live forever. Why should my face not look sad when the city where my fathers are buried lies in ruins, and its gates have been destroyed by fire? But Nehemiah had favor with the king. Nehemiah had lived over with the Persians, that he was not back living in the land of Judah with his people. The king of Persia, Artaxerxes, had blessed Nehemiah with everything. He was very wealthy. But Nehemiah had felt compassion for his people exactly like Moses had felt compassion for his people in the book of Exodus. That when Nehemiah had heard and seen that his people were struggling, Nehemiah was sad and had to put in a request to the king that he's going to have to leave all of his riches and wealth and go over to govern his people in Judah and help them, because they're over there struggling, and they was also under attack from people who were surrounding nations that were foreigners. Abari got it, my brother. And if our requests cannot be met, I'll organize my people and give them the right direction and guidance. God bless.